What is going on, everybody? Back with some more NFL player props. Get you winning some money for this week 13 action. I got 3 KJK VIP tickets that I did just lock in, 2 of which are going to be on the Prizepicks app, 1 of which is going to be on the Betr app. We'll be getting into it shortly. If you do not have these 2 apps, guys, you're going to want to go ahead, take advantage of the deposit offers that they are going to give you. Prizepicks going to give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 with the promo code KJKDFS. I will have that link down below. All of my links will be pinned as the top comment, guys, to make it nice and easy on you. Prizepicks are going to hook you up with $50 when you play your first $5 instantly. Betr, they're going to hook you up with a nice $200 deposit match over on Betr, and some really good props on their app that we'll be discussing here shortly that you can't get on Prizepicks. Some really good props on Prizepicks. Some of these you're going to be able to get on both apps. Some of which got taken off the board here, though, which we'll talk about here shortly. The McCaffrey prop in particular does look like it's no longer available on Prizepicks. Hopefully they repost it. No promises. And then another app you could be getting, guys. If you have multiple apps, you're going to get the best chance to capture the best value possible because you can kind of hunt around. So another one that this will apply to will be Underdog Fantasy. And once again, they'll hook you up with a nice $1,000 deposit bonus with the promo code KJKDFS. My link down below. So I'll have links for all that stuff to help you with your deposit matches. I'll have links for my VIP package as well, which keep in mind, I'm sharing with you guys actual plays that I'm playing, actual plays that I'm providing my VIP in every single one of these pieces of content, and actual plays I'm backing with my own money, okay? So if you want access to that, that will be linked down below once again. It is hosted over on Patreon. This is the page you'll see. $49.99 a month. You can purchase it. You're going to get access to my Discord, where you do get access to all of this different content that I'm going to be able to give out for free. A couple of them. Just keep in mind, I'll have a lot more plays. I'm going to give you guys 3, though, 2 of which on the Prizepicks app. Once again, it looks like McCaffrey's no longer available in this ticket. But I have another one that I locked in with the pivot to his teammate for the second one, so we'll talk about that here shortly. In this breakdown. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. This video is going to be a great resource to go ahead and break down the process, all of which is going into every single one of my plays. And let's do it, man. So we'll go play by play here. The first play I got is the Justin Jefferson over fantasy score. We'll save the fantasy scores for last, I guess, because I do want to break down the standard props first, bring in all of the different research tools that I use. For the standard props, we'll knock those out. And then the fantasy score, I'll bring up how the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format works for you guys. Kind of explain that. But this first prop, Marvin Harrison over 3.5 receptions, this is a phenomenal prop. Why is that, guys? If you're not familiar, I do use multiple tools every single day to find the very best plays on these apps. One of which is going to be the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. If you don't have this tool, guys, would highly recommend you check them out. A lot of the green on my screen that you see me pulling up on these videos when I'm pointing out winners, the props that I'm selecting are as a result of this tool right here to detect the very best value. They're going to give you 25% off when you use my link down below. So take advantage of that. You can see this Marvin Harrison Jr. over 3.5 receptions prop. We're looking at a 53.92% chance to hit. Why is that? Because every single one of these sports books, if you're not familiar, there are millions of dollars invested into setting appropriate lines every single day on every single prop for every single player, right? So they're going to charge you a price to either take the over or the under on every single prop. Minus 135 on Pinnacle right here, known to be the smartest, sharpest sports book in the world, meaning they're just good at what they do. They predict the things that are going to happen in games best the most of the time, and they set the right price tags the best. You're going to have to risk $135 to win $100 to take the over 3.5 receptions here for Marvin Harrison Jr. in this Week 13 action. Why? They're factoring in the target share, how many times they're throwing to him, his actual QB, how talented is he. Is it going to be a game they're throwing from behind in the game where they have to throw more to try to catch up? Yada, 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 right? Everything that you think you know about football or sports or whatever the case may be, these companies know more. They factor it all in, so we can just kind of get right to the point, diagnose the data, find the very best plays on these apps, right? If we're looking to get detailed with those statistics, though, I got another tool for you guys, Outlier. Once again, they're going to hook you up with a nice deal. There's tons of different resources on this channel. I got my VIP package, the free content, and a bunch of different tools and resources to help you out. This one, partnered up with these guys, 7 days completely free, guys, so take advantage of that. Link down below, get you 7 days free, not a dime. Marvin Harrison Jr., we got right here, the over 3.5 receptions. If I go ahead and sort this by implied probability, that's what I like to do in this tool. It's going to sort his props based upon the likelihood of it hitting. You can see right here, this bright green 28th in the league is Minnesota. So this is a great example of Outlier's tools bringing in the market data, right? The FanDuel, the DraftKings, et cetera, and the matchup data. Minnesota has been terrible against receivers. They're 28th in the entire NFL. So they're going to bring in all this data to help us out here. You can see this is actually a plus expected value on Prizepicks at -119. They're saying the best possible place you'd be taking this is on Prizepicks, so lock that in as soon as possible. Why? Because you're getting -119 implied odds in a 5 or 6 pick flex on Prizepicks, which is what we're playing on this channel, all 5 and 6 pick flexes. And all of these other books are aggressively favoring them at a much higher rate, -146, -145, -138, -136, et cetera, et cetera. Minnesota is 28th in the entire NFL, giving up 24.1 receptions per game. And then you look at the wide receiver position, they're actually 31st in the entire NFL, giving up 15.2 receptions per game to opposing wide receivers. So this is when I just get straight to the point and I talk about the market data and I talk about DraftKings and FanDuel and all these stuff. And people go, what do you know about sports? Do you watch football? Yada, yada, yada. This is a great example of the market already knowing everything you think you know, right? They know that it's a good matchup. They know he gets the ball thrown to him a ton. They know that the Minnesota Vikings secondary sucks. So this is a great example of all of that, right? Marvin Harrison accounts for 21.6% of the total offense's target share for this Arizona Cardinals team. And you can see he's been hitting this at a crazy high rate throughout the last 10 overall. 50% hit rate overall, but a lot of these games he's clearing it by a mile. And as stated, this is the matchup you want if you're taking the over for Harrison because the Vikings are just giving up a ton of different receptions to all positions, but specifically the wide receiver position. So Marvin Harrison, a fantastic prop here for play number 1. This is all the things that are going into my process. So everything that I just broke down, that's exactly the thought process, the research going into every single one of my plays in my tickets, right? So we got the Marvin Harrison over 3.5 receptions. The next standard prop was the Christian McCaffrey over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. It does look like this got taken off the Prizepicks board, which sucks because obviously that means I can no longer promote it to you guys for you to be able to get it in. If you were in my VIP package, you would have already beat that removal and you would have locked this in with us. But you can see the Christian McCaffrey over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns is in my ticket. And why is that? Because this prop had phenomenal value. I don't think it's there anymore. It does look like it's still gone. It was available on Betr, and I did lock this into the Betr ticket that I'm going to be sharing with you guys here. So hopefully it's still available over there is the hope here. And if it is, I can pull up that data right now to tell you exactly why this is a good play. Let's see if it is. Is Christian McCaffrey still available on Betr? Let's go ahead and pull up the Betr optimizer over on Daily Grind Fantasy. Let's type in Christian McCaffrey. You're going to see this is a crazy good prop. So it did get removed from Prizepicks, but at the time of recording, you can still get it on Betr. And why is this a good prop? Because he's aggressively favored on the over on Pinnacle. Once again, the smartest sports book in the world. He's -143 on the over to score a touchdown here in week 13. That is crazy good stuff. Once again, smartest sports book in the world. You're going to have to log in and risk $143 to win $100. Why are you going to do that? Because they're saying it's so likely that Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown. We are going to charge you a high price to take the over, right? So we want to be taking advantage of that. McCaffrey, one of the biggest scoring threats in the entire NFL. You know, you look at the implied team total, all these different things, the matchup, the weather. It's expected to be a snowy one in Buffalo this week. So, you know, they might lean more on the ground rather than throwing through the air. Brock Purdy's a little bit banged up with an injury as well coming into this week. So another example, right? They know all this stuff. They know Brock Purdy's banged up. They know that it's going to be a snowy one in Buffalo this week. 82 degrees, snow coming down. So maybe lean more on the ground. They're expected to put up a total of 19.25 points. Obviously, you can't put up 0.25 points, but that's just how precise these markets are. They're going to give you an exact predicted total. And they're expecting McCaffrey to be one of those touchdowns. Very aggressively favored. So it is for all of these reasons that is a very, very good prop. And you can't get on Prizepicks anymore, but you can get on Betr. So this is a perfect example of having as many apps as possible, right, to find the very best value. Because McCaffrey's gone on Prizepicks now. But if you're able to get him on Betr just by having another app, you're able to get a really good play here, right? I was able to get the plan before they took it down on Prizepicks. That's the other name of the game. You got to get the good plays in quick because they will take them down. Next standard prop, as you probably just saw me pull up there, is going to be the Devontae Adams receptions. in this ticket here. And I love this play, the over 5.5 receptions here for Davante Adams. Why is that? Because, once again, shocker, there's going to be a bunch of different data to support this play being a good play here this week. Let's go ahead and pull it into the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Let's see the data that they're giving us. You're going to see his best possible prop on the entire board is the over 5.5 receptions. Why is that? Because he's at minus 128 in the over on Pinnacle, minus 130 on the over on DraftKings, minus 135, minus 137 on the over on Caesars, etc., etc. Minus 140 or greater on Parlay Play, Flip, Hot Streak, all these other daily fantasy sports prop apps, all aggressively favoring the over 5.5 receptions on Davante Adams. And if we want to get more detailed, right, let's go ahead and pull up our handy-dandy tools over here at Outlier. Let's see what they're telling us about the matchup this week for Davante Adams. All this stuff, I can guarantee it's going to be looking good, right? It's like I always say, man, the market knows. So you kind of bring in the data in real time and you're going to see all the different matchup data. You can see the over 5.5 receptions for Davante Adams expected to hit at a 54% hit rate this week because he gets to take on a Seattle secondary that ranks 20th in the entire league at giving up receptions, right? So they're bottom of the barrel here again defensively. Minus 129 to vig odds on Pinnacle. You can see Seattle, 21.8 receptions per game. Then we look at the wide receiver position, specifically 12.4 receptions per game, 19th in the entire NFL. So it's a good matchup for Davante Adams. And obviously, if he's out there on the field, we want him to be accounting for a lot of targets, which he is. It's Davante Adams, it's Breece Hall, and it's Garrett Wilson as the top three in this offense. You look at the receptions and the targets, 10.2 targets per game, catching 60% of those for 6 receptions per game. So it makes a ton of sense, right? They're going to set his line at 5.5. They're going to say he's either most likely either going to end with 5 or 6 receptions. We're going to set it at 5.5, and we're going to charge you a price to take the over because it is more than likely he is going to get 6 or more receptions, factoring in his 10.2 targets per game where he catches 60% of those, right? 6 receptions per game. They set the line at 5.5. They're going to charge you a price to take the over. We could take advantage of that, locking this in on an app like a Prizepicks, where once again we are getting minus 119 implied odds compared to these other sportsbooks that are charging a way higher price. You know, minus 135 on BetMGM, minus 130 on 365, DraftKings, etc. So hopefully that all makes sense. These are all of the reasons this is a good play here for Week 13. We want to be taking advantage of that ASAP. Put it in your ticket, lock it in, feel confident about it because it's a really good prop. Now, the rest of these, you're going to see a lot of fantasy scores from me. And if you're not familiar with the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format, it is a PPR format, points per reception format. So for those of you that play fantasy football, I'm sure you're very familiar with this format, right? You're going to get a point for every reception. You get 6 points for the touchdown, et cetera, et cetera. We can go ahead and pull that up here on the Prizepicks app. So I have multiple models, projection models, et cetera, that are going to project the amount of points these guys are going to put up this week. And I have all of these different receivers going over. This scoring format is very friendly to wide receivers, naturally because of the point per reception format that I just discussed. So it's important to know the format of the app you're playing on. Kind of goes without saying, but if you don't know the scoring format, it's kind of setting yourself up for failure here. So you can see 1 point for reception, 6 for the receiving touchdowns, 2-point conversions. If we get one of those, is a nice 2 points, right? This is how it's going to be scored. And I have every single one of these guys projected over here this week. Okay, so who are the guys that I'm discussing? Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin. Those 3. Absolutely love these 3 studs this week. They're just underpriced, right? We need to be looking where they're pricing these guys, taking the over or the under. Now, the other ticket I have here is the same exact plays, except the McCaffrey touchdown and the Kittle fantasy, right? So George Kittle and McCaffrey are both on the same team, the 49ers. It's really not too smart to be playing 2 players on the same team in the same ticket, just in case, like let's say George Kittle catches 2 touchdowns and steals the touchdowns from McCaffrey, or McCaffrey runs it in for 2 touchdowns and George Kittle doesn't really get any good fantasy points because of it. I have them both projected well over, but you can see, like I said, I'm going to share with you guys 3 tickets. The first one was with that McCaffrey touchdown here with the same other 5 props. And the second one was with the Kittle fantasy score. Reason being, I really like both those props if they're on the same team. So it makes no sense to put them in the same ticket. We want to be taking them separately with these other plays that are all on different teams, so they're not cutting into each other's target share. And I feel really good about either George Kittle or McCaffrey hitting, or both. And then I cash out 2 tickets right? But if one of them misses because the other one's kind of taking all the scoring for their team, I don't care because I already greened out the other one. So that was the thought process behind that. And we can break down all of these matchups here once again. Let's bring all of these guys into Outlier because once again, I am using Outlier to do all of my research for the matchups. In particular on these apps, it can be very, very helpful using this tool. I do have multiple projection models that just spit out a number, right? So I can tell you guys like where I have these guys projected, but if we pull up the data in real time, like the receiving yard matchups, et cetera, you're going to see Arizona overall 19th in the entire NFL, 20th. They're giving up 151 yards per game to opposing wide receivers. And then we can look at the reception numbers. They're 25th in the entire NFL, giving up 13 receptions per game to opposing wide receivers, right? So their secondary has been very bad at giving up receptions, receiving yards. Kind of, that's what we want. We want him to get a lot of fantasy points. So that's all good stuff. That makes us happy. It's a good matchup here for Justin Jefferson this week, right? So that all makes sense. That's going to make us like him. We got the Nico Collins fantasy score as well. So obviously we would like for him to be in a very friendly matchup this week. Let's go ahead and bring him into Outlier. Look at the matchup data. See what they're saying here for Nico. We can pull him in. Let's see the receiving yards, et cetera, the receptions. You can see Jacksonville, terrible. 29th overall in the NFL, giving up 24.2 receptions per game. 28th against receivers, giving up 14 receptions per game. Awful secondary here once again, right? So we want him. They're 29th in receiving yards, getting up 184 receiving yards per game to opposing wide receivers. All these things are going to obviously make it so Nico Collins is in a really good position to go off this week. And then both these guys are the top target guys in their entire offenses. Stephon Diggs went down with a season-ending injury. So Nico Collins' target share has gone up even more. There's no more Stephon Diggs to be taking away targets from him. These are all good things. And once again, these are all things that are factored into my process, my projections, et cetera. So you got Nico Collins, Tank Dell. They're really big two weapons on this Texan squad. And then last but certainly not least, we got the scary Terry McLaurin. Really, really talented wide receiver. All these guys, very talented wide receivers. Once again, let's look at his matchup data. What do we got here this week for Mr. Terry McLaurin? And obviously, we want their team to have a high total. If we're taking the over fantasy score, like we would like for their teams to have high totals. It does look like Tennessee has not been giving up a lot of receiving yards overall. They've actually been kind of a tougher defense, but I will reiterate, I've got a projection based on all of these guys, matchups, price, et cetera. And we look at the matchup data here this week as far as the total for these teams. Washington still has a pretty hefty total here. They're expected to put up 25.25 points. And Terry McLaurin's just underpriced, like I said. It really comes down to that. I've got the guy projected to go out there and put up like in the upper teens, and they continue to price him at like 11.5. I don't really get why they continue to price him at 11.5, truthfully. Like, are they not seeing the production this guy is putting up week in and week out? Certain guys I just continue to have projected way over where these apps are setting them at. And McLaurin is one of them. Even if he has like a kind of a mediocre game, I think he can put up like 13 fantasy points, and they only have him at 11.5. So it just doesn't quite make sense to me. Go ahead and target that for sure. I've got McLaurin projected for 17. I've got Justin Jefferson projected for 20 here this week. If you tuned into my Thanksgiving video, I kind of broke down how I had like Tyreek Hill projected for about 20, and he went out there and did that exact thing. So all these projections I discuss, they're factoring in the matchup, they're factoring in the target share, et cetera. And then the other guy's Nico Collins. I've got him projected to go out there and put up about 20 fantasy points, right? So we got Terry at 17, we got we got Nico at 20, we got Jefferson at 20, and they're all priced just like too low. They're all priced, 3, 4, 5 fantasy points off, in my opinion. So we do want to be taking their overs. And the other one was that George Kittle fantasy score as well was another one that I really liked. So that was my second ticket. And that's the play that you guys should still be able to get because of the McCaffrey play getting taken off. So you should be able to get a full 6-pick flex in using the same plays I used for this second ticket in particular, right? So this would be the one. Let's go ahead and copy this link and see if all these plays are still available at the time of recording. I think they are. I think they are. Let's go ahead and open up another window here. See if they're all available on the Prizepicks board. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, they are. So you should be able to get all 6 of those plays in that second ticket that I brought up here. The Jefferson over fantasy score, the Marvin Harrison over 3.5 receptions, the Nico Collins over 16.5 fantasy score, McLaurin over 11.5 fantasy score, Devontae Adams over 5.5 receptions, and the George Kittle over 10.5 fantasy score. The only prop you still can't get on the Prizepicks board is the Christian McCaffrey touchdown, but you can still get it on Betr at the time of recording, so you can lock in this Betr ticket with me as well, because I'm locked in over here. So let's go ahead and bring up this Betr ticket for you guys. And the other prop you're not going to be able to get in it on Prizepicks that you can get on Betr is going to be the Cooper Kupp receptions. So I love this prop as well. The over 6.5 receptions for Cooper Kupp is a phenomenal prop. I have the Devontae Adams over 5.5 receptions, the Marvin Harrison over 3.5 receptions, the Jefferson over 60.5 fantasy score, McCaffrey over 0.5 rushing touchdowns, Nico Collins over 16.5 fantasy score. All of those props are the same ones we just discussed on Prizepicks that I have locked in here, but the two you can't get on Prizepicks any longer is the Christian McCaffrey rushing touchdown and the Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions, both of which are phenomenal props. We can go ahead and break down exactly why these are phenomenal props here for you guys before we head out the door. Be taking these over on Betr. And I guess just to prove to you that they're not available on Prizepicks, let's go ahead and type them in here, right? Let's see if Cooper Kupp is available. I know they aren't because I already checked, but you can see his standard receptions is not listed, so he's gone. And then obviously I already brought in the Christian McCaffrey touchdowns is no longer listed here either. So unfortunately you cannot get these on Prizepicks. However, we can get them over on Betr. So let's go ahead and pull up the Betr optimizer on Daily Grind Fantasy. Once again, I have Christian McCaffrey. You can see phenomenal prop. And then let's go ahead and talk about why Cooper Kupp it's a really good prop here this week, the over 6.5 receptions. Let's go ahead and bring him in here. You're going to see the over 6.5 receptions. He's minus 130 on the over on Pinnacle, minus 130 on the over on DraftKings, minus 133 on the over on BetOnline. All of these sportsbooks are aggressively favoring his over, giving us a 53.72% chance to hit. Really, really good stuff for our Betr ticket. We like that a lot. So we like the Adams receptions. We like the Marvin Harrison receptions. We like the Jefferson fantasy. We like the Christian McCaffrey rushing touchdowns, the Nico Collins fantasy, and the Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions. Really, really good stuff. And we can go ahead and break down the market data here, or the matchup data, I should say, for Cooper Kupp as well, using our handy dandy tools over at Outlier. Let's go ahead and type in Mr. Cooper Kupp. Let's bring him up here for you guys, and you're going to see it's going to be a bunch of good stuff pointing to this prop being a good prop. The implied probability on the over 6.5 receptions are giving this a 56% chance to hit. And once again, shocker, New Orleans, you see that bright green on the over. It's because they're 24th in the entire NFL, terrible defensively, giving up a lot of receptions to opposing teams. They're giving up 22.5 receptions in total versus the wide receiver position. They're 26, giving up 13.6 receptions per game. Phenomenal prop, phenomenal matchup. The guy that's targeted a ton, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, their chemistry is off the charts. They've been playing together forever. He targets him 20.5% of the time on his dropbacks, accounts for over 20% of the team's overall target share. This is for all these reasons that we really do like Cooper Kupp's over 6.5 receptions this week. And we can take advantage of that value over on Betr where we can't get it on Prizepicks. So get that $200 deposit match, take all these plays that you see on the screen, and hopefully we can cash you out a bunch of different money for this week 13 action. So here's what we got on Betr, full 6-pick dynamic. First play that I locked in there, so take advantage of that, guys. And then for Prizepicks, already brought it up, but right, that McCaffrey play is taken down, but you should be able to get all the plays in this second ticket that I locked in with the George Kittle over fantasy score, which is another phenomenal prop, another guy that's been clearing it at a very high rate, and another guy that I do have projected over. I guess he's the last guy I do kind of want to just explain why I like the prop, right, and then we'll head out the door. George Kittle has been clearing this very consistently. Over 10.5. He's cleared this in each of his last 5, and I do have him expected to go over here again this week. Let's go ahead and break down the matchup here against Buffalo, right? Our tools at Outlier will give us all the data we need, showing us why this is a good prop, showing us the target share, all of that different stuff for George Kittle. You can see he's aggressively favored to go over the 3.5 receptions in Buffalo, giving up 27. They're 27th in the league in receptions, giving up 23.4. And then versus the tight end position, they're 21st, giving up 5.6 receptions per game, right? All good stuff in the point per reception format on Prizepicks. The receiving yards, 12th overall, 44.6 to the tight end position, 14th overall, 226.8. So they're giving up a ton of different receptions, receiving yards to opposing tight ends. And then George Kittle, obviously, we want the guy to be targeted as much as possible. Second on the team in target share on the season. 5.1 receptions per game. 82% of the time the ball's thrown his way, he's catching it on 6.2 targets per game. So that all makes us happy. That all makes us feel confident in him going over. I do have him projected to go out there and put up about 16 fantasy points here this week. And they, once again, just simply have him mispriced, in my opinion. So go ahead and lock that in for your full 6-pick flex over here on Prizepicks for this week 13 action, okay? That's the full ticket number 2. You won't be able to get the McCaffrey touchdown, but you can still get Kittle. That is all from me in this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door. Go ahead and take advantage of all those different deposit matches. Prizepicks, once again, they'll match you. They'll give you that $50 instantly when you play your first $5. So certainly take advantage of that. Get that free money in your account. And then Betr, same deal. Take advantage of their offer, right? That $200 offer when you make your first deposit. They're going to give you all the way up to $200. And you'll be able to get the Cooper Kupp receptions prop over there. And you'll be able to get the Christian McCaffrey touchdown prop over there. Hopefully still, after this recording, is the hope, right? So you should be able to get the full ticket in here on Prizepicks with the Kittle fantasy score. And you should be able to get the full ticket in here on Betr with the Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions and the McCaffrey touchdowns. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Week 13 NFL player props. And we will see you in the next one.